Well, you might be able to hear that loud noise in the background. My vacuum pump making a very weird knocking noise. I got like another 5 hours to make it to a friend's house in Normandy. Hopefully we make it that far. Come on, Judy. Keep it together. Welcome back to France. Well, we left you off with some mechanical issues in the last video, and I believe I got it all figured out. We are here at a friend's farm and a nice relaxing place to be able to get some work done, doing a lot of repairs on Judy, and one of those is going to be the vacuum pump. So we are waiting for a part to get delivered. Unfortunately, there is no way to get one over here in France, so it has to be delivered from the US. But the vacuum pump in here just went out, and that was the very loud ticking, knocking type sound in the engine. Fortunately, since we have the E450, it comes with the Hydro Boost brakes, so the vacuum pump does not run the brakes. It really just runs the HVAC, AC, all of that type of stuff. So it is loud and annoying. Thankfully, the pulley is not broke, so we don't have to worry about a serpentine belt snapping or anything like that. It is just a noise inside of the vacuum pump, and we're still able to drive with brakes and everything else. And honestly, our AC hasn't worked in a year anyway, and that might be the issue. While we're here, we are getting a lot of other maintenance done. We have new gear to install. We have actual maintenance to do, tire rotation, differential, fluid change, and a bunch of other things. So we're going to just kind of skip through some of those on this video. There's not much traveling on this one. We're parked still for probably the next week or so, and just really trying to relax, but also get a lot of this maintenance done on Judy. It's definitely needed. All right, well, let's get to it. We are going to kick things off with the differential fluid change, and we also need to replace our speed sensor that is in the rear axle. We have been having issues with the speedometer bouncing, and it's actually, even when it's solid, it's off about 10 miles per hour. I already replaced the forward speed sensor. I replaced the middle speed sensor, which goes into the transfer case. The only one I haven't done yet is in the rear axle, which just finally got the part. So really hoping that this last speed sensor is the one that fixes the issue, because with an automatic transmission, you're driving down the road, and when your speedometer is bouncing, it wants to shift erratically. So it makes it a real pain when you're trying to go, and all of a sudden it just downshifts and revs, and it's not good. Also, Buddy is loving the farm life. He just loves it here. He is outside all day, and our friends have a dog, so they get to run around and play. And yeah, it's so much nicer when he can just be out cruising around and do his own thing. How about it, bud? How about it? He's a good buddy. Yeah. Normally we have a lot more room under here, but I think we're parked on just a little bit of a hill back here, and I didn't want to jack up Judy, but I think I'm going to have to, because it's a little tight, and I need some more space working here. The ground is super soft here, so my wood blocks sank into the grass a little bit, but gives us a little bit more room, and let's get to it. Okay, now for the smelly part. Gear oil just smells so bad, especially this has been in here for quite a while. But what I did, we leave one bolt at the very top, just still tightened in there, so that way we can tap, crack the case, and hopefully it all just drains right into the pan, and we'll be good. This thing is really stuck on there, and I don't want to ruin anything by hammering on it with a pry bar or anything. So watch a quick YouTube video and you take razor blades and tap them in to help break the seal around here, and they tap in so far, and it kind of cuts the RTV gasket seal. So I'm gonna kind of do that around there, and hopefully that should be enough to allow it to just pop off and finally drain. Try not to slip my finger open like I did in Morocco. If you missed that video, check it out. so close. Starting to leak out. I can see the cover moving. Ah, man. Right there. Come on. Yeah. Holy. I think there's still a little bit of the RTB at the very bottom that is just locked in there and does not want to come off. Hey, finally. Good golly. That took a lot more time than I was expecting. We'll let all this drain out of here, and then we'll remove the cover and we will get it cleaned up. I was expecting this to look a lot worse inside, but it actually looks pretty good. The oil did not look too chunky or bad. So I think we're good. We're gonna get this cleaned up, check everything, then we'll get it bolted back together. We finished up the differential. We have the cover back on, and before we fill it back up, I want to get the speed sensor replaced because there's always a little bit of gunk. Since there's magnets on it, there's some gunk that can build up there. So the speed sensor sits right on top of the differential. It is held on by just one little bolt. It pops out, and this is what the little guy looks like. Just this little thing, little connector, and this slides in, and there's a ring that goes around inside the differential, and this reads the speed. So really hoping that the one that's in here is faulty and that's what's causing the bouncing speedometer. If not, I really don't know what I'm going to do because I've already checked all the wiring and everything else, so we'll see how that goes. You can see this gets filled up with some gunk on there. I'm going to drop the new one right in here. We had a slight issue getting this in. There's a little gap on the bottom side of the speed sensor that allows the clip to slide in, and that gap was not big enough, and it took me forever to figure it out. I thought pins were not going in right or whatever, but shaved it down a little bit with a razor blade, and it's in. So we're gonna pop this bad boy back in here. Okay. Crap. Never fails. It's a big bolt, but the grass is deep. Ah. Ay. This job for the speed sensor should have taken 5 minutes. I think we're in it 20 or 30 minutes now. The differential, yeah, they should have taken maybe an hour. Yeah. Getting the cover off, I think, took an hour. Good golly. When you do projects, always double or triple the time. This is just nuts. I should know better at this point. Speed sensor is in, all connected up. Now we're going to jump back to the other side of the differential. We're going to get it filled up, and then this job will be done. Unfortunately, I won't know if the speed sensor actually fix the issue until we leave here, which will be a few days, so we'll keep you updated. Well, after that one, time for beer. Cheers. We're going to try to get something else done today, and I believe that's going to be our tire rotation and also grease all the fittings up front. We did the rear tire rotation. That's all set. It gets really sketchy back there, so try not to record and just focus on what I'm doing because I have to jack up the whole rear end and get everything off there. But we're now moving forward to the front, and these tires, these are the Falcon Wild Peak AT3s, and we've had these on here on the front for 3 years now, and this is what we put on when we had the 4x4 conversion done. They have about 45,000 miles on them. Now, we have a spare that we rotate in, so each one has probably slightly less than that, but the tread on these things is still, I mean, I don't know if I can fit a lens cap in here, but the tread is super good still on these, and like I said, we're at 45,000 miles.
kind of crazy because these things have literally been around the world, and it's not all highway pavement. It is off-road rocks, and they just take a beating. I'm really impressed with these, that they have lasted this long. I wish the ones in the rear did not have gashes in the sides and they lasted longer, because they are fantastic tires. So if you're looking for heavy duty all-terrain tires, the Wild Peaks for sure. So it's funny, as I was recording that for the tires, I noticed that the ones on the truck right now are starting to crack. Right in here, you can see the cracks coming through. So I think after 3 years, they might be starting to get dry rotted. The cracks don't seem horribly bad. I've seen a lot worse, but definitely something to keep an eye on. I might have to start looking for new tires. What are your thoughts? Let me know if we should just keep on running them or get new ones right away.
1 day later.
Today has been another day full of projects. I got a new mirror installed from Wolfbox, but running the wire through all the way to the back, oh my gosh, it took forever. Note to self on any future builds, make wire channels. Gosh. So that took a good chunk of the day just trying to get the wire through, but that is all installed. And then we had some screws come loose on the front side of our bed here, and unfortunately I think 2 or 3 of them had snapped. So I went through, had to pull the entire bed apart, and I'll show you here. Actually, I had to pull mattress off the boards. You can see everything in our garage. The screws go into the extruded aluminum here, and so I got all of that redone. I used some heavier duty screws, so we shouldn't have that issue. And what happened is this was a little loose, and when you tried to open drawers, it would catch and everything. So that is now all secure. We're gonna put all of this mess back together. Gosh, the list is just growing. We have so much to do. You end up putting off all of these small projects, and it adds up over an extended period of time. But if you look, so it just keeps going, but we are checking them off one at a time. We are making big progress, and we are still waiting on parts to be delivered for the vacuum pump. Once those parts come in, more than likely in about a week, we will get that sorted out. But for now, we're gonna get back to it and continue all of this mess. Yay. We're gonna fast forward this one. Ready, set, go. Yeehaw. Good morning. Today we got to fix some leaks. So in Spain we had a ton of rain over like a 2-week time frame, and noticed leaks everywhere, and one of the bad ones was actually around the AC unit, and it really ruined our ceiling. I tried to do quick little repairs along the way to stop the leak, but it just wasn't enough, and I have to remove the whole AC unit from the roof, reseal. It's a plate that goes between the AC unit and the roof that is attached to the AC unit. I'll show you later. But anyway, it's a spot that it should not be leaking, so I'm gonna have to make a little minor adjustment and see if we can get that fixed. We also have some leaks around the back door that drip on the bed every once in a while. So we're gonna dig into it. One of the nice things today, actually in the past couple days, it has been beautiful outside. I think today is supposed to be close to 90 degrees Fahrenheit, which is amazing. Hence, no shirt, sorry. But it allows us to get up, fix these leaks without having to worry about rain in the forecast for the next week. And so if we run into any hiccups, I think we'll be okay. We got the inside unit pulled apart, and the leak was actually happening right here. I kind of put a little seal there. So the roof is here. That's not where it was leaking. It was leaking up above, and after looking at it some more, when water runs off of the front of the AC unit, it gets caught on this metal plate right here that is what mounts the AC unit to the roof, and it runs right in between the AC unit and that metal plate, but it doesn't leak on the roof. So kind of seems like a design flaw, but I'm gonna have to pull the whole upper AC unit out, take that plate off, reseal around there with my own gasket, put everything back together, and hopefully that does the trick. Now the difficult part. We need to be able to lift this up, and I think I'm just going to tilt it backwards, but it is super heavy. So let's see what happens. Yeah. Success. Here you can see a little bit better about what I was talking about. So this metal plate here, actually this black part is what goes on this on the roof, and that's what seals. This was not leaking. It's this metal piece here that is basically the bracket, and you can see one of the screws popped out when I went to pull it up here. But what happens is the water would run down off of the front here, and I put this little piece in. We're gonna get rid of that. Would run down and right into this lip, and it would allow water to run right between the AC and the metal plate, and it would come in, leak all the way through, and spread throughout the ceiling. And man, that kind of sucks. So we're gonna pull this metal plate off. We're gonna put a whole new gasket, probably use some butyl tape. Butyl tape is fantastic for sealing up around these types of things, and I've never had any failures with it or leaks. If you don't carry butyl tape with you, get a roll, carry it with you. It'll be a lifesaver. But we're gonna try that, and then we'll put everything back down, and hopefully at the next rain, we'll be okay. If you're not familiar with butyl tape, it's almost like a putty. It's very pliable, and I've had this for probably close to 3 years or more. I just keep it. It's still the same original roll, and you only need a little bit because you just spread it out. But we're gonna take this and put it around the seal. It seems like this foam seal just wasn't enough. We're gonna clean it up real good, and then put the butyl tape right around the edge, so hopefully that helps seal that in, screw it all back together. We have the outdoor unit back in. It's all bolted down. Everything looks sealed up, so we're gonna go back inside, tidy everything up, and on to the next project. Our next task is to clean the Maxxair fan. Our Maxxair fan has been squeaking like crazy on lower speeds and all the way up through medium, and when I run it on high, it doesn't squeak, but on that low and medium, it really has this loud chirp noise, and it drives me insane when I'm trying to sleep. So normally what I end up doing is I turn the fan off because it's just too loud. So I want to try to get that fixed, and from what I've seen online, a lot of people say it's inside the motor, but while we're doing that, the fan really needs a deep clean. I already took off, so here is our fan. You can see it is quite dirty. It really needs cleaned up, and if you look up inside of here, you can really see all the dust and dirt. And this is honestly just part of having a Maxxair fan, especially if you cook inside. When you're cooking inside, or when we're cooking inside, we use the Maxxair fan for ventilation to pull out the propane fumes and also any food smells or anything like that. And over the years, we definitely don't have food smell that gets stuck in here, which is really nice. But any grease particles or anything like that is being pulled right into the fan, and that allows the dust and dirt to really stick in there good. This fan here is new. I put this in last year, I believe. So I think this is the first like deep cleaning. Normally Crystal cleans the fan blades and the screen, but we normally don't pull everything out to really get in here. So I'm going to finish cleaning this up here, and then we're going to unbolt the motor that is up here, and we're going to actually pull the motor apart, because inside of the motor, I guess it's not sealed, so some dirt can get inside the motor, and that's where that chirping can really happen. We got the motor unbolted. It is just two 8mm bolts. It comes out, and then two Phillips screws to be able to get it apart. So this is the part that stays attached. The wires are there. I've seen some people cut these and put a plug on these wires just for future. It makes it easier. You can just unplug and remove it, but I think we're gonna leave it as it is for now. But here is the actual motor, and there's the bottom plate. You can see how dirty that is. And I don't know if you can see in there, but it is quite dirty in there too. So this is just a magnetic motor. This is the inside. Whew. So there's all kinds of there's all kinds of dirt and dust in there. So we're gonna get this cleaned out, clean up the motor really good, and then we will put everything back together, and hopefully that gets rid of the squeak, at least for a little bit. Jeez. I am really surprised that this motor is not sealed up better. There is a gasket on this side that I believe might keep some out, but there's no gasket on, oh, there is a gasket on the top side. I'm really surprised how much dust and dirt gets in here. You would think this motor would be sealed up much better to eliminate that. But we're gonna get it cleaned and we'll put it back together and see if it makes it work. One note, if you are doing this, the inner part here, there are two little springs. So there's one, I'm gonna put it closer. So you'll see the little spring right here, and then there's one on the other side, which I have out right now. Make sure you don't lose those. And then these little guys here, they slide in there, so you'll have to get them out of the way. You'll have to get those out of the way in order to put the shaft of the motor back in here. So just be careful when you take it apart, don't lose the springs. And motor is back in, everything's bolted in. We cleaned the fan real good. Look at that. It's not brown anymore, it's actually clear. So we cleaned the screen. So we're gonna bolt this back up, turn it on, and see if she chirps. Hopefully not. Here's the moment of truth. Let's see. She's nice and quiet. On low. I don't hear any chirping. We'll have to keep an eye on it and see how long this lasts. But for now, I think it solved the problem. Yeah!
1 week later.
After about a week delay of waiting for our parts to get through customs here in France, we finally got our new vacuum pump. So the goal for today is to pull the old one, get the new one in. We do have a new pulley to go on the front of this as well, and bought an extra serpentine belt. That's just a backup just in case. Hopefully putting this new one in will fix that knocking issue. I'm pretty sure in the old one inside of here, this is where the diaphragm goes for the vacuum. I'm pretty sure that the diaphragm has a little cut in it and it's basically vibrating really bad whenever it's trying to create the vacuum. But we won't know until we get it out, put the new one in, see if it works. With the new vacuum pump, I also did get a new pulley to get installed on there. Now these are press fit, so there's not really a bolt or anything that holds them on there. So what's gonna happen is I need to get that pressed on. The problem is I don't have an actual press fit tool, but the inside of this, probably won't focus, but the inside of the shaft here is threaded. So what I'm gonna do is put that on. I got a bolt that matches the thread, put some washers on there, and we're gonna run that with a socket wrench to press that pulley on there. So that should do the trick. I don't want to smash it with a mallet or a hammer or anything. I'm pretty sure this will work just fine. Boy, that's tight. So it did definitely get us down there quite a bit further. We're just going to keep working it until it is down there as far as it needs to go. Okay, as you can see here, we got it press fit in there. It's all good, and it's got I can hear the vacuum in there. So we should be all set to pull the old one out, put the new one in. Oh, the one thing I did almost forget is we're gonna have to check oil, because apparently some of these come with very little or no oil already in them. So We're going to pull this little plug here, and we're probably going to add just a little bit of gear oil inside of there to make sure it is well lubricated before this goes in. The E-Series vans, anytime you want to do anything pretty much in the engine bay, the airbox has to be the first thing to go. It's quick and easy, just a couple little clips and screws, but we'll get that out of here. As you can see, that really opens things up. Working inside of the van series engine bays is a real pain in the ass. Trying to get down in here to do anything is really difficult. Getting into where the vacuum pump is, I believe it's only 3 bolts. We got to get the serpentine belt off first, and then we'll try to get to those 3 bolts and see how difficult that's going to be. So this right here is going to be the vacuum pump, and there's a couple bolts right down in here that we'll have to get off. And as you can see, it is, I mean, you can see my hand and trying to squeeze down in there. We have very little room to get down in there. Always a fun time. We got the old one out. What's crazy though is it is still actually supplying vacuum. It sounds a little rough inside of the chamber here, but when you put your finger over the port, it actually is still sucking and creating vacuum. So I'm not exactly sure what's wrong with it, but just a little noisy, I guess. Here is the old one, here is the new one. The one problem I do have now is the bolts that hold the vacuum pump on. We have to reuse these bolts. The problem is the pulley is press fit on here, and the bolts don't want to come out without removing the pulley. The other problem we have is I already put the pulley on this one. So, crap. Now we need to figure out how to get the pulley off because we don't have the tool. And then we got to figure out how to do this one as well. Yay. There's always something. You can't just go easy and go right. All right, neighbor to the rescue. He had a tool. So the tool clips onto the pulley. Let's go! Yeehaw! All that to get that one bolt out. So go figure, the day that I need to actually work outside, it wants to rain and it's on and off. So we're inside finishing up putting the new one back together. We have the bolts in there. We pressed the pulley back on. And so this one is ready to go back in. Hopefully this works. The new vacuum pump is installed. We got everything put back together except for the air box. So we're gonna fire it up and see if it makes a change. There we go. I think we are all set finally for all the maintenance, repairs, everything. I know it's a little bit different video, just bringing you along for some of the realness of what we have to deal with. Really hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure you smash that like button, hit the subscribe and the bell so you're notified for next time. And until next time, we'll probably see you in the UK. We have the differential cover. Well, we finished at... No.